Hey, Manny Talavera here. I really appreciate you taking a look at my video today. This is video one in a series of videos where I'm going to be talking a lot about entrepreneurship, starting an online business or a home-based business. We're going to be giving you a lot of tools in the next several videos, so you might want to keep a lookout. In this first video, we're going to talk about the ESBI Quadrant. Now, a lot of you may have read the Robert Kiyosaki book, ESBI Quadrant, and that's where a lot of this came from. But when we get to the entrepreneur part of this, I'm going to explain it in a lot more detail. I'm going to give you a lot of insight here. A lot of people are running their own business, but they don't even know what kind of business they own. And so we're going to deliver a lot of value. This video is going to be shorter than my other videos, but hopefully you'll kind of understand how to navigate through this and hopefully get to where you're on this side of the board, either a business owner or an investor. So most people start out in the E quadrant being employed, and then what they do is they go to the next quadrant and they start working for themselves, and they essentially consider themselves an entrepreneur. So we go from here to here. Now when we get down here, there's two types of businesses we can own. We can either be self-employed or we can be a small business owner. And I can tell you that these two are completely different from each other. Most people think they're business owners, but they're actually self-employed. They don't even know what type of business they own. And so we're going to actually walk you through this. So if you're self-employed, essentially what you have is you have a service that you provide that you get paid for that you're actually doing. And I'll give you a bunch of examples of this. So doctors, attorneys, dentists, chiropractors, accountants, bookkeepers, those people are all self-employed. And what it is they've created a job for themselves. Now this is the thing. There's nothing wrong at all with actually being self-employed and providing a service that you get paid for. People who actually own service businesses tend to make very, very good incomes. And they're working for themselves. They're not working for someone else. And so they have a sense of accomplishment. They're making their own way. And you see right now a lot of people are becoming, Facebook ad agencies. And those people are essentially self-employed. But those people are doing very, very well. You can make a lot of money doing that. Now, the difference in being self-employed and being a small business owner is that when you're a small business owner, you own a business that you're not actually tied to. You're not providing the service that brings in the money. So when I owned my pool room, I was a small business owner. I owned a hair salon with tanning beds. I was a small business owner. One of my best friends owns a bar. He's a small business owner. When you own these other types of businesses, you are not responsible for being there in order for the income to come in, and so you can take a little bit more time off. The problem with being a self-employed person is if you take 4 weeks off as a dentist, you're going to lose 4 weeks of dental production, which is a lot of money. If you're a small business owner, that's not the case. The problem with people who are small business owners is a lot of times they don't make enough money to take a lot of time off. So people who are self-employed, their income tends to be higher, but they can't take as much time off. People who are small business owners, their income tends to be lower, so they can take more time off, but unfortunately they don't have the income capabilities of doing that. Now what happens when you're a small business owner, as your income increases, you can take more and more time off. And so the great thing about being in that quadrant, that part of the quadrant, is that you can generally take Mondays off or go in late on Monday. You can leave early on Friday. You can take long lunches. When I owned my pool room, I would take Mondays off or go in really, really late on Monday. About the only day I took off. Because Mondays tended to be slowest, so that would be the time I would go out, get anything I needed to get done, and I would get there around 9:30 or 10. I still would show up, but it would be later. But the difference here, like I said, is that as incomes increase, you can hire more staff here at the small business owner section, and you can take more time off. And ultimately what you end up with is a lifestyle business. And both of these areas are essentially lifestyle businesses. You see people who are self-employed or small business owners, They take 4 or 6 vacations a year. They can take a lot of time off. And when you're in the small business owner side of things, it doesn't interrupt cash flow like it does if you're self-employed. So the next section we go to is a business owner. And there's a huge difference in being here and being here. And I'm gonna explain it to you. If you're a real business owner, you can walk away from that business for 3 to 6 months. You're going to take no calls from that business. You're not going to show up at that business. You're never going to go to that business, and the business will function perfectly without you for anywhere from 3 to 6 months or even a year if you wanted it to. See, when you're the small business owner section, these people do take more time off, and they can do that when their income is right. The problem is they're still attached to the phone. They're still putting out those fires. As a matter of fact, if you talk to these two types of business owners right here, what they will tell you is the toughest part of the business is all the drama and the infighting with employees and putting of the fires out. I can tell you, when I owned the hair salon, it was drama 24/7. I couldn't wait to get out from under that. It was just too much infighting and drama, and that's what you have in some of these. And when you go from being a small business owner to a business owner, you get rid of all of that. So again, the difference in being over here and being over there is very simple. When you own a business, when you're an actual business owner, you own a system that functions 100% without you. So you have a staff, you have a series of managers. If something breaks, someone picks the phone up, they don't call you, they call and replace what broke. Anything that happens is dealt with by a manager, and they don't call you at all. And like I said, the real test is walk away from that business for 3 to 6 months. If it functions 100% without you and makes just as much money, if not more money, then you're an actual business owner. So when you go to sell a business, the hardest thing to sell is a business where you're self-employed, because if you're a dentist or a chiropractor or you're an attorney, the concern is those clients aren't going to stay when someone else takes on ownership. And so when you're going to sell a business where you're self-employed, the best way to do that is a warm transfer of the business. So person sells the business, and when they sell the business, they actually stay on for about 6 months. And they warm transfer all of their clients to the new owner. So if you're an accountant and you're doing taxes for everyone, what you do is you stay through tax season and you introduce everyone to the new owner. You're there for about 6 months to make that transition smooth. Because when a person buys any of these, let me tell you what they're buying. They're not buying equipment. They're not buying inventory. What they're buying is cash flow. And what they don't want is they don't want a lot of that cash flow to leave because you leave. And so the lowest multiple you're going to get is when you own a business and you're self-employed. When you're a small business owner, what they're going to look at is what are you reporting on your taxes? So how much net are you taking out of that business every year, and how much time are you spending there? The less time you're spending there, the more valuable the business is going to be. And when you move into the business ownership side, you can get a five times multiple on your money. This is the most attractive thing that you can actually sell, is a business that you're actually 100% hands off. What people are looking for is cash flow on demand where they don't have to do anything. And that's where you're going to be able to get the most of your money. And so, just going to do a quick review with you. We go from being an employee to either being self-employed or a small business owner. When you're self-employed, you're providing a service, you're a cog in the wheel, the money comes in from you actually doing something, and the goal is actually to move from self-employment to small business ownership. And when you move from that one sector to the other sector, now what you're getting is in a situation where you can take a lot more time off. You can have a little bit more time freedom as your income goes up. So the more money you make in this section, the more time you can take off. And then ultimately the goal is to be on the business ownership side. And when you get to the business ownership side, now you have a sellable asset that people will gladly buy. You won't have any trouble selling it, because when you're at these two levels here, a lot of times you're selling a job. You can still sell it. There's still going to be someone who wants to buy it, but the multiple you will get is much less. Now, the last section we want to talk about is the investor side. And when you go from being a business owner to an investor, what you do is you go from owning one business to being an investor in businesses where you either A, are buying stock, B, are buying real estate, or C, buying existing businesses where you're not going to be a cog in the wheel at all. You're not going to have anything to do with that business. So as an investor, like Warren Buffett, he goes and buys a business. He owns that business. All of the revenue from that business is coming to him, but he has nothing to do with that business. He has managers in place. He's not there at all. He has people who are operating that business, and he's not going to get a call from any of those things. Any of those people. I think Warren Buffett has one meeting a year with all of his business owners. And so other than that, he's completely hands-off and they're running the business. And so the goal is actually to go from here to here, and then from business owner to investor. But I can tell you, as a self-employed person or a small business owner, if you're running an ad agency right now, like I said, on Facebook, that's very popular, you can create a very, very good amount of income where you can actually move over to the investor side, and you can start buying stock and real estate. I can tell you that a lot of our high-end coaches in the market now, they are driving a lot of income from coaching, and they're investing heavily in real estate. And so it's something that you want to think about. But what you want to do is you want to ask yourself where you're at in all of this. Where do you want to be? How can you take a self-employment situation and add small business ownership to it? Like right now, as a coach, I'm self-employed. As I sell more and more content, I'm a small business owner, because when you create a course and you start selling that course, you're not a cog in the wheel anymore. The money comes in automatically. So what I want you to do is think about all this. If you have any questions, please send them over. Like I said, this is video one in a series. We're going to be putting a lot of content out. I've got a lot of things I'm releasing. The Content Creation Made Easy, strategy sessions that sell, the Manny Talavera Inner Circle Coaching Program that's going to be a group online Facebook thing that we're going to be offering. But like I said, if you have any questions about that, leave them below, and thanks a lot for watching.